And now to our next conversation, straight into it with Elon Musk, who has completed his Twitter deal. Now, on the 14th of April this year, 2022, Elon Musk, one of the world's most enigmatic billionaires and the father of Tesla, shocked the world when he announced he planned to buy Twitter, one of the giants of the social media ecosystem. He offered $44 billion for the company in a take or leave it deal. Now, Twitter said no. They even attempted to fight Musk's bid to buy the social media company, only to change their minds in a surprise twist a few weeks later. After that, it seemed like all would go smoothly. But then Musk got an apparent case of cold feet and tried to back out of some of the terms he agreed with the company. To hold him to his word, Twitter had to take the billionaire, the world's richest man, to court, and the judge gave the warring parties until 10 p.m. to close the deal. Now it appears that the deal has been closed. Rotimi Ogunyemi, managing partner of Bayo, Ogunyemi & Co., a specialist technology law practice in Lagos and a committee chair in the Nigerian Bar Association, joins us now to give us insight into what it takes to close a $44 billion acquisition. Rotimi, let's just start with the visual of what was on the screen before, if I can get them to put that back. Yesterday, Elon Musk entered Twitter headquarters carrying a sink. And apparently also went on a bit of a firing spree. What do you think of all these theoretics and antics and the drama that has surrounded this story from the very beginning?
Fantastic. Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's been an interesting past couple of hours. And I mean, this video just basically says it all. Elon Musk says, let it sink in. And of course, the drama has been exactly that. It's been a roller coaster since April this year when Elon Musk made the offer. It was actually a hostile takeover bid to acquire Twitter. But of course, a lot of back and forth occurred. It was months of drama, and that accumulated into this completion of the deal, bearing any last minute going on, as it were. I mean, I must say that the last couple of months has been interesting. It all started with Elon Musk, kind of privately shoring up his shareholding in the social media giant. He was almost like quietly buying up this stock up until he had close to about 10% of the Twitter shareholding. And then the Twitter board kind of noticed, and they really reached out to him. And then it was at that point they kind of made an offer to bring him in quietly on the board, because basically he had a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
And initially he agreed, but after a few hours he backed out from being on the board, and then he pushed for the hostile takeover. So it's been an interesting couple of months, really.
So two things I'm going to ask you, because I think many people might think this is how typical takeovers, or at least sort of these business acquisitions, happen. For many of them, they're not really this dramatic. At the end of the day, lawyers are on two sides of the table. They sign agreements and everybody goes home, some people richer and some people with more responsibilities. Then you also mentioned hostile takeover. He is the world's richest man, offered $44 billion for Twitter, which some people have said the actual valuation has been decreasing in the past few years. We're seeing some of the tech giants, some of these social media companies recently quite have a struggle in the recent few years. Could Twitter have actually seen a white knight sort of emerge from anywhere who would have been willing to take on Elon Musk? So two questions to you there.
Right. So, I mean, first of all, let's deal with the issue of hostile takeover. I mean, to be clear, this is not how it happens in the business world. It's just like you described. Some folks decide, okay, we want to merge, or we want to acquire, or, we want to buy stakes in this company, and then conversation starts, financial people, lawyers, different ones coming. Right now, in this case, a lot of that was actually going on behind the scene. Right? I mean, let's remind ourselves that this all happened with Elon Musk being the unpredictable person he is. He goes on Twitter and offers unsolicited advice in terms of how to turn Twitter around. We bear in mind that Twitter had not been profitable since inception in 2006 up to 2017. right? But I mean, from 2017, with Jack Dorsey back at the helm, it started to restructure itself, re-engineer its business model, and it started to amp up, advertising revenue. So things were actually looking up. But again, Elon Musk is here offering unsolicited advice, but Elon Musk is Elon Musk. He had actually engineered the transformation of several industries. Think about PayPal. He was an early investor. Think about the transportation, self-driving cars, Tesla, electric-driven vehicle. Think about SpaceX. Think about Starlink, what it's doing in the internet world. So, I mean, you cannot but take Elon Musk seriously, right? But on the flip side, this is Elon Musk who also, would go on Twitter and then jokingly tweet out certain things, which has significant ramifications. I mean, I'm thinking about Dogecoin now, the cryptocurrency. Yes. Elon Musk goes on Twitter, he makes a tweet, and then the value of Dogecoin rises astronomically, and then it crashes. So Twitter's early reaction was uncertainty. Is this for real? Is this not happening? And so that's why they initially tried to embrace him. Let's bring him in on the board. Let's have the benefit of his good ideas. And then they actually bound him with a standstill agreement, which was he wasn't going to be able to take up more shares like he was quietly doing. And then when Elon Musk reneged on that, he initially agreed, but then when he reneged on that, Twitter says, okay, let us look at the offer. And honestly, from an economic point of view, it was a good offer. 44 billion was really a good offer when you look at it from the shareholders' point of view. And so the shareholders started to have a change of mind. Like, okay, this is great for us economically. Elon Musk has a number of ideas. Perhaps he should come on board. And then Elon Musk then decided to back out, citing the number of fake accounts on Twitter, which, some people say was not founded on fact. Yes. Right? I mean, clearly there are fake accounts on Twitter, but perhaps not significantly as much as to impact the deal. And then the matter went to court. So all that drama is not exactly, what happens in the normal scheme of things.
It sounds so much more like how it sounds so much more like how Hollywood would write an acquisition and a merger or a hostile takeover versus the everyday reality. So you mentioned something about the bot. So I want to come in there because we obviously saw Elon Musk try to find a way to wiggle himself out, claiming that Twitter was that his offer to Twitter was based on incorrect or false information. And this 10 p.m. Deadline that the judge gave, which was supposed to be 10 p.m. today, was one that many people saw coming. So there's also the idea that all of this, at the end of the day, he was just playing. He always knew he was going to buy Twitter. He always knew he was going to continue with his original offer to Twitter. The in-between is what has captivated the world of business and even the larger world. But when you look at the potential to renege on contracts, and you said it, he reneged on the contract in terms of not buying any more Twitter shares and walked away from that. People, it's business. It's supposed to be, once you sign on that dotted line, we hold you to what you have offered. We hold you to what you have said. But people are seeing that when you're the world's richest man, maybe not everything actually applies to you. Rotimi, what do you think?
Okay, I mean, fantastic point right there. First of all, I would say that, yes, he's the world's richest man. But nobody actually, including Elon Musk, has 44 billion lying around somewhere. Much of the money much of his money is tied in Tesla stocks and his stocks here and there. It's not as if he has it in the bank. And so he actually had to get financing from Wall Street banks to the tune of about $12 billion to make up this cash. Right? So, first of all, yes, he made an offer, but Twitter needed to know that he was serious and he could back that offer up with cash. So that was one. Two was that now, some say that Elon Musk is just he could be an erratic person, and history actually kind of makes that pattern clear. Yeah. So nobody was really sure. Is he joking around? Is he playing around? Is it for real? And so much of it was let's watch and let's see. So when he actually came up with the funding, like I have the cash, that was when Twitter took it seriously. And then perhaps he developed cold feet. Perhaps it was Hollywood stunt. I don't know. But then he actually came up to say, hey, I'm coming out of this. And Twitter said, no way. We will hold you accountable.
Yes.
Your word is your bond. It's a contract, and you are going to perform it. And it looks as though Elon Musk lawyers, I mean, I'm speculating here, read between the lines, and they saw that the judge was not going to have any, wasn't going to joke around. And the judge was actually going to order him to buy. And if he failed to go ahead, there was actually a penalty clause of about $1 billion.
Yes.
And you could say that's a little money for Elon Musk, but nobody wants to throw around money around frivolously, as it were. So it seemed as though he played around a while, but then he became serious. But more importantly, and this comes to the policy issue, is that much of Elon Musk's tweets has been centered around, he has ideas about how Twitter has been restricting certain kind of speech on its platform. And he is out to say Twitter should be free speech all the way. And so it seemed as though he had an ideological basis or a philosophical basis to follow through on this transaction as well. And actually, that is what is rocking the political world, and the cultural world have amped up based on that issue. Free speech against some restrictions on speech and content moderation. So, yes.
It's going to be interesting because we believe that he's likely going to release Donald Trump from his Twitter prison anytime soon, even though Trump says he has his own social networking sites. But I have to ask you this. So he brings in this sync. He does this whole big production. I think him and Kanye West are probably in the same WhatsApp group in terms of this idea of public spectacle and things. But beyond that, we also heard reports, not yet confirmed, that he has fired the CEO and also fired the CFO, I believe, of Twitter. So in regards to that, is that a signal to the company, a signal to the industry that there's a new sheriff in place? Is it more about him not possibly being impressed with their performance in helming Twitter? Or is he also lining up a clean road to make himself CEO? People are also concerned about the potential for him to make himself CEO of Twitter. What do you think, Rotimi?
Fantastic. I mean, this is the area that, industry watchers are looking at very closely. Rightly said, yes, it's unconfirmed, but it appears as though the CEO has been asked to leave, the CFO has been asked to leave, and very significantly, the head of legal policy and trust, who actually made that decision to permanently suspend President Trump, has also been asked to leave, including the head lawyer, the general counsel. Now, all of this, right, taps into the thinking in some quarters that this is the first act towards Elon Musk's version of the Twitter he wants to see, which is a completely free, in his own words, Twitter, no restrictions, content moderation should be brought down to its barest minimum, let the users police themselves. Basically saying, let Twitter be extremely decentralized. And, but again, to be fair, he came out with messaging yesterday, particularly targeted at advertisers, right, to say that, oh, no, it's not going to be wild, wild west. There will be some form of restraint here. But then his track record and body language seem to suggest that his move is to create a different version of Twitter, which, like I said early on, is going to exacerbate that tension between personal freedoms, particularly freedom of speech, and also reining in the worst impulses of human behavior. The truth is there is free speech and there is bad speech.
Yes.
There is free speech and there is fake speech, right? Yes. There's deliberate misinformation, there's disinformation going on Twitter, and quite frankly, Twitter is the world's public square. Whatever happens on Twitter, whatever trends on Twitter, perhaps determines what journalists talk about, what TV stations talk about. So this
the value of a company
area. Absolutely.
All right, Rotimi, I have to let you go, but I know that in the next few days, we'll probably be talking to you again. There's so many other things. The market has reacted as well. Twitter's share price went up 4 points yesterday. How much of that is going to be sustained? We're going to look over in the next few days. And then again, this policy direction that has a larger real world ramification is one we want to touch base with. But let's leave the conversation at this. Probably meet up on Twitter and see what we can find out about what's going on and what Elon Musk might be thinking. Rotimi Ogunyemi, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
All right. And if you are a Twitter I guess, a subscriber at this point in time, please find your way to Twitter. Let us know what you think about Elon Musk taking over the company, and also this conversation around free speech as well. But a very valuable point that Rotimi made earlier, when Elon Musk talked about Dogecoin, the share price went up. The price went up. And then when he had one or two other things to say, it crashed. So Twitter is much more than just a social media app for people to vent or, of course, let things off. There's a lot of real world ramifications and consequences to what happens on that bird app.